I received an email from someone regarding travel insurance. I couldn't believe it, but I said, maybe it's true, so let me check it out. So I did. That's what I'll show you. Stay with me. A couple of days ago, I received an email from someone. Let me read to you the email because I said, well, there is a possibility that this is what's happening, but I said I couldn't believe it. First, this is what he said. Let's take a look at it. This came from Chelsea. Hi, on my observation, I think the travel insurance for COVID-19 is just PAL requirement. That's Philippine Airlines. But if you fly with other airlines, they don't ask for that. A lot of people say they fly with Korean Air and other airline. You don't need it, but other people fly with PAL, even if it's just connecting flight. They ask for it. And they are not asking that Philippine immigration, they're not asking that from Philippine immigration, just only PAL. So if I were you guys, choose other airline to fly, not PAL. There is no sense on buying another medical insurance just to travel if we already have medical insurance here in the US. I'm a US citizen now and planning to go home to visit my family in June, so I'm looking for other airlines, not PAL. Now that is interesting observation, but I don't know if it's true. And one of the things you should do when you get something or see something on the internet or anywhere is to verify, do some legwork and verify what is being said or done. Now, so what I did is I contacted American because I thought American flies to the Philippines. And just to inquire basically if travel insurance is required. So here's the response. I'll let you listen to the phone conversation.
Now,
New York.
Okay.
On Japan Airlines.
Okay. Now, given the COVID situation we have, can you tell me what are the required documents or what are the necessary things I need to do to fly to the Philippines?
Mandatory quarantine and testing for unvaccinated travelers. You would need to have proof of COVID-19 or antigen test results. The PCR test must be taken a maximum of 48 hours before departure from the origin country. Alternatively, a negative antigen test must be taken in a laboratory of a maximum of 24 hours before departure from the origin country to the Philippines.
Okay. What is the second requirement you mentioned? Did you mention travel insurance?
I didn't say nothing about insurance.
No requirement regarding travel health insurance.
Unvaccinated travelers will need to be quarantined. That's what I said.
That's it. That's all it says.
And tested.
I thought you mentioned something about insurance.
Yeah, and also about the PCR test must be taken 48 hours before leaving origin country.
Mm-hmm. And no mention of travel insurance.
The forms of documents is going to be mandatory contact tracing application, mandatory accommodation bookings for unvaccinated travelers, mandatory health declaration form, mandatory health insurance. Yes.
Oh, there it says. It did say health insurance, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
There you have it. So it is required. I did another thing. I got on the internet to do some searches, and I think this one came from Qatar. So I looked at the Qatar Airlines and see what they say. Let's take a look at it. Now this is Qatar Airlines website. And these are the entry requirements. In addition to the visa requirements, they said warning. And then let's look at the travel insurance matter. Here goes. Passengers must have travel insurance to to cover COVID-19 expenses with a minimum coverage of $35,000. So Qatar needs it too. Now, I think what you need basically to do is when you book a reservation, inquire what is the requirement. The other problem you're going to have is, let's say that American Airlines screwed up. You flew from here, from Philadelphia, to let's say San Francisco or Los Angeles. Then you got onto a connecting flight, which is another airline, so they also have their own. See, when you check in, these airlines have it on computer. And when the Philippines issues that pronouncement, usually it goes everywhere. Every airline has it. Now, if somebody goes in and was not checked, sometimes the airline is just negligent in checking to be sure all the requirements are met. Sometimes they miss it because it's so busy at the airport, as you know. Tons of people are checking in, they may miss it. Now, if they're doing their due diligence before the gate even starts, they should look at all the requirements and they should be familiar with everything, so each and every one will get screened. But people are human, they can overlook this. And sometimes they may not ask for it, they may not check it. It doesn't necessarily mean it's not required. This is more important for those people who are taking different airlines on layovers. One airline may neglect it, but the next one may not. So, guys, be very careful. When you hear these things, do not just believe it, take a look at it. If it's not on the computer or one or two airlines, then you're good. But in all likelihood, this gets into the computer of all airlines. They're all connected. One airline gets it, everybody else gets it. It's the human error that could cause why, in some cases, they don't even ask for it. Some people also ask me, gee, Grandpa, what if we just type a letter, meaning a fake letter, saying you are covered, even though you don't have insurance? Guys, I will never recommend that you do something like that. Never. If you do, you run the risk of being banned from even entering the country. So, that's all I can suggest. And don't ask me if, gee, is this going to be okay? Is the original birth certificate, let's say, is the original birth certificate necessary? Could I show a copy? Don't risk it, guys. If you have the original, bring it with you. If you don't have the original, try to get it. Do the best you can for you to comply with good documentation. Traveling nowadays is not that simple. It's very expensive. If you get stuck somewhere, you miss your flight, it's very expensive. So don't play the games. Now, the game I was asking you to play before, keeping in mind there is risk, okay, but the risk is minimal, is get an insurance policy. And some people will say, gee, why do you guys even bother with this? Because it's so inexpensive. Yeah, right. If you are a 20-year-old kid, maybe you pay $10, okay? But if you are a 70-year-old, 80-year-old, even 60 years old, it could run you into hundreds of dollars. Now, that's for 30 days. If you're staying there for 6 months, multiply that by 6. You're talking big bucks. Now, is it okay for you to buy a cancelable policy? I think most of them are. And then you have something to show, which is real. But then once you arrive in the Philippines, cancel the policy. What's wrong with this? Well, it says there you should have a policy, but you don't, right? Not travel insurance. But be sure you are covered by your own policy from the US. This is so ridiculous that you have to get a travel insurance because you're covered, let's say, assuming you are, covered by the U.S. It's just that the U.S. insurance company wouldn't issue you a letter saying that you have the coverage up to $35,000, including COVID-19. Most of them, I think, would issue a letter saying including COVID-19, but they will not issue, with some exception, that you're covered up to $35,000 or more. So, with what I was suggesting, okay, after you get in, and it's true, you have coverage, but then you can cancel it. Okay, there is some expense. There's a $25 cancellation policy, and you will be refunded the prorated portion. If you used up one half of it, you will get refunded one half, minus the $25 cancellation fee. To me, that is a cleaner way of playing the game. So guys, this is all I have to share with you. I'll appreciate it if you can share this with others. And please do click like. It helps me a lot. And I'll appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel so you will get updates as soon as they come up. Thank you so much for watching. God bless and make it a great day.